Yeah, what up, folks? So we got a 2007 Suzuki Sx4. Customer complaint is that the check engine light is on and the vehicle's running really rough, right? So I'm just in the neighborhood. I decided to pop in to just verify the customer complaint before I take it back to the shop, right? Let's get into it. Alright, folks. So as I mentioned earlier, we got a 2007 Suzuki Sx4 with a Rough Rider and check engine light that's on. Customer said that the light came on while they were driving. So let's go by the tailpipe and listen to how it sounds. Yeah, you definitely have a misfire somewhere. Okay, you hear that uneven pulse, that indicates that we have a misfire. It could be one cylinder, it could be more than one, I'm not sure, but we definitely have a misfire. So we gotta get the scan tool and put on this vehicle and see exactly if we could get some sort of direction. Alright, so you see the check engine light is on. Okay, let the scan tool do its thing and let's see if we could get some sort of codes. Okay, the Suzuki Sx4. I'm just gonna run through this real quick. Alright, powertrain, ECM. Okay, this is the other. Right, it's automatic. Okay. Alright, as I said, man, let me just skip straight to the code and let you see what's good. Alright, so we got a P1621, that's a immobilizer code. Right, that has nothing to do with the misfire, but let's see if we could see any data pits with misfire. Any misfire counters? No, we don't. But we have the fuel trim. We could take a look at those things and see if we can figure out exactly what type of misfire it is. Is it a fuel or is it ignition? It could be compression. It's an older vehicle. Here, so while we're on the hood, let's remove this airbox and let's take a look at the coils. Right, I will need to get to them in the first place because I gotta sync my scope up to number 1 or whatever coil I can get my hands on. Okay, but let's remove this airbox and then we're supposed to be able to, get access to the coil. I could probably, swap the coils and do all that switcheroo thing, but I'm just gonna sync on number 1 and I'm gonna use the pulse sensor in the tailpipe and see exactly where that misfire is coming from and chase it, I guess, right? But this vehicle definitely running lean, right? So low voltage, lean condition, right? But you gotta ask yourself, what exactly can cause a vehicle to run lean? I mean, you can have a injector fault, you can have let's say a MAF sensor issue. What could we have? You can have a fuel injector, fuel pump. You could also have a coil that's not working and causing that cylinder to cut. Sometimes these manufacturers use strategy where they isolate that cylinder when it has a misfire, so it will be dumping fuel into the engine. So they tend to do that a lot. Okay, so with the scope box, I'm synced on number 1 coil signal from the ECU, and the yellow trace, that's my exhaust pulses coming out from the tailpipe. Right, so seeing that the firing order is 1342 for this engine, I'm synced to number 1, right? We can easily locate the cylinders misfiring using the scope, right? This is a scope box from the Think Tool setup, right? So I'm just gonna grab a quick capture and zoom in, right? Every time you see that blue notch, that's gonna let you know that number 1 is being fired. Alright, so let's grab a capture and see exactly what's going on. Right, so on the yellow pulses, if you have a good engine, I expect all the pulses coming out the tailpipe to be even, so that's letting me know that everything is good. But if you see anyone that's like pulling down extremely low, that's letting me know that that cylinder has the fault, and there it is. We definitely have a misfire on one of the cylinders somehow, right? So we gotta figure out exactly which one it is, right? So let me stop it and we're gonna zoom in and take, trying to analyze and see exactly what this misfire is happening. So let's stop this. Okay, we gotta zoom in right here. So every time you see that blue notch on the waveform, that's number 1 coil being fired, the signal, and between there is 720 degrees of crankshaft rotation. Okay, so I just gotta square this up so you can see. Let me explain to you what's going on, right? So we got these 2 blue notches right here. So this is cylinder number 1 signal being fired, and then you got another notch that's letting you know that number 1 is being fired again. That's a signal from the ECU. Between there is 720 degrees of crankshaft rotation. If you split that in half, you got 360. Right, so immediately to your left, right, that becomes number 1 exhaust pulse, all right, on a 4-cylinder. So let's take it from there. So from there is 1. The next one that's pulling real low is number 3. The next one is 4, and then we gotta start over again and go back to 1. That's number 2, right? So try to follow me, try to stay with me. Okay, so where we seeing that extreme pull down, that's number 3. We're looking at the downward pull, not the one that's going up. So we have a fault on number 3 coil, and it's repeating itself constantly. You see every time it's pulling down real low compared to the others. If it was a good working engine, all the way from all the pulses would have been even. But right now we got a extreme pull on number 3. That's letting me know that, you know, we gotta go after number 3 cylinder, right? It could be a coil, it could be the spark plug. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but let's remove the coil and plug and do some inspection and probably notify the customer. And this car is really old too, so most likely the customer haven't replaced these coil and plugs in a while. So I mean, what can you do? Right, so let me get my hands on one. It's late in the night, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow and get it, and then I will I'll probably do some swaptronics just to see if the misfire will follow the coil, right? And once it do, I'm gonna make that call and change the plug and the coil, right? So, but check this out. While you're at it, hit that bell notification, right? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what's up down in the comments, right? While you're at it, appreciate that. But yeah, let's get a coil and let's call this, I mean, the quick one. Okay, so I got the new coil in, right? I did some swaptronics thing, so I'm just gonna put that on number 3 where the fault was. I replaced the plugs also in all of them. I just replaced number 3 coil, right? It wasn't doing its job. So let's make sure everything is good. We don't have any codes, but I'm just gonna double check with the scan tool and hook my tools back up, and you'll see exactly what's going on. But yeah, straight to the point, right? Yeah, it was late in the night. I couldn't get my hands on coil, so let's see if we can finish up this job. I got somewhere else to go, so I'm not even sure if I can test run it, but let's see if I can put the scope back up on this vehicle, and I will show you exactly how all my pulses is supposed to look in the tailpipe, right? So yeah, that's good. Okay, vehicle sound much better. The idle is not dropping out. I'm revving. Yeah, this sounds real good. And you see right now, all my pulses are looking really good. It's even. You're not seeing no dropouts at all. So that's letting me know that the misfire is not there anymore.
6 hours later.
I gotta drive this vehicle, man. It's a sweet old lady. I mean, she wanted her vehicle working real good, so she made sure I just drove this vehicle. But what you gonna do? Until next time, y'all take it easy. Actually, this vehicle is driving real good. I didn't know this Sx4 have all this power, but what can you do? Until next time, peace.